July 27th, 1990. It's a day I will never forget. For those of you who don't know, and the non-Trinidadians in my audience, it's the day of the attempted coup in Trinidad and Tobago when the Jamaat al Muslimeen, led by Yassin Abu Bakr, overtook the government of Trinidad. Now, it only lasted a few days. Thankfully, we refer to it as the attempted coup. I was around 12. I was now leaving primary school, going into secondary school. It was a very frightening experience. I remember clearly it was a Friday. There was a big football match happening that my father attended. And then in the night, we saw this broadcast happening.
At 6 p.m. this afternoon, the government of Trinidad and Tobago was overthrown. The Prime Minister and members of the cabinet are under arrest.
Now, as a child, very confused, very frightened. Thankfully, my father came home, he was safe, and we were just wondering what would be next. Of course, my parents did a very good job in assuring us that everything is going to be okay, not to worry. I remember having such childish thoughts around this, like, because it's Muslims, will we have Christmas anymore? Things like that. It happened during the summer, so this was interrupting our summer vacation. But of course, things got more serious as we paid attention to the news and that kind of thing. Yassin Abu Bakr, the leader, he went to TTT, which is Trinidad and Tobago Television. And at that point in time, it might not have been the only one, but it was the most popular TV station in Trinidad and Tobago. So therefore, to get his message out and to talk to the people directly of Trinidad and Tobago, he decided that him and a group of insurrectionists went to take over the TV station.
Where is the Prime Minister tonight to address the nation? Where is he? God has removed him. God has removed the authority, not the power, because no man, including myself, has any power. We have only temporary authority because we all die.
And another group went to Parliament.
It saddens me to know that in these issues, the issue
so it was like two-pronged, and during the fighting and the melee, they actually blew up the police headquarters.
This is Trinidad and Tobago Television. We are being allowed to make another news bulletin. The Imam Abu Bakr wants you to know that the police headquarters in downtown Port of Spain has been gutted by fire. They are still in control of TTT. The staffers here are unharmed.
So, it sounds really like something out of a movie or something. More than anything, being a child, I was scared. But we also had childish experiences that is, looking back on it, could be funny. For one, Abu Bakr went to TTT to take, and as I said, he took over that so he could talk to the people directly. I think if it wasn't Friday, it was like Saturday, there is a station on Cumberland Hill, I think, where some engineers from TTT went up there and they actually knocked out the signal. So therefore, Abu Bakr didn't have the TV station again to talk to the people or anything like that. So the whole purpose of going to TTT was lost. They don't have really anything to broadcast at night. Any movies these guys had on hand, they started to play. I remember we were watching TV one night and then all of a sudden Batman, with Michael Keaton came on. Man, as kids, we were so excited. Another night, we were watching TV and they started to play Star Wars. And I believe it's because one or two of the engineers, that's the movies they had on VHS and they played it. And we enjoyed that. We would kind of look at the TV every night to see, well, what other movie they're going to play. I remember that, being pretty excited about that. But of course, there was a serious side of things, an overthrow of the government. I remember hearing that the Prime Minister was shot in Parliament and they took him out because he was getting critical. It became pretty clear this coup wasn't sustainable, so negotiations started to happen about an amnesty and whatnot. I'm not going to go into those details. There's a lot of information online. You guys could read up on it. One thing I remember clearly is when Abu Bakr took over and he gave that speech.
We're asking people not to involve in any looting or any form of unlawful action.
Now, I'm not sure how many people was thinking about that, but that sparked something. And I remember most of the destruction, now there was destruction, as I said, they destroyed the police headquarters, there was destruction to the Red House where Parliament was. I remember the TTT building on Marval Road was riddled, like when we passed after the coup and everything calmed down, it was riddled with bullet holes. So some gunfighting and whatnot happened there. But most of the destruction that happened in the coup was actually done through looting and destroying properties and whatnot while they were looting. I have never seen anything like it. People were carrying couches and fridges on their head. It was something else to behold. And as a child, this is all that had overwhelming. And I remember clearly, everyone was doing it. People were coming and giving us stuff and whatnot. As you get older and you look back on your life, you really see the kind of people your parents are. I remember very, very clearly my father telling us what they're doing is wrong. Yes, everyone is doing it. There is no judgment. Everybody's partaking, but it was still wrong. And my father stood up and said, no, we will not partake. We will not take anything stolen. We will not loot anything like that. And looking back, you know, seeing everyone getting TVs and whatnot was something, but then after it, we could say, no, we didn't partake at all. And it's something I could appreciate, the kind of man my father is. Thanks, Pa, for being the kind of person you are. Now, it only lasted a few days, as I said. Eventually, Abu Bakr had us to give up, and there was a trial and all of those details. But then there was the aftermath. The coup happened in 1990. Most of Queen Street, because of the looting, most of Queen Street in Port of Spain was burnt down. A lot of those big buildings you see on Queen Street is a result of rebuilding after the coup. We didn't recover right away. There was a state of emergency. There was curfew for over a year after. And it happened in 1990. And I would pass Queen Street, and this was like 3 years after the coup. There were still burnt out buildings and whatnot. Now you don't really see any signs of the coup other than when you pass by the old police headquarters. It's rarely, I'm not sure what they have in there, but they built a new police headquarters across the road. But the old facade of the building is still there. We have recovered in terms of the scars on the city in Port of Spain. It's a good reminder that we should be appreciative of what we have because it could be taken away from us. Yes, there were a lot of deaths. There is an eternal flame on the Red House that constantly burns. You could actually go to the Red House and see the plaque and see the names of the people who died in the coup. I know this video doesn't have much detail around the politics that led to the coup. There is so much information about that. I can't really add to anything there. But I just wanted to give you like a child's perspective because I was very much a child when this happened. So one thing we should always remember if something like this happens again is to not react in that way anymore. Because as I said, most of the destruction to property and anything happened because of people looting. I think that's a scar that we will always have to carry. So thanks everyone for listening. I know that this mightn't have been even like a coherent story. I was just giving you a child's perspective on what happened and how I remember the coup. If anyone has experiences from the coup, leave it in the comments. I'll be very interested to read what you experienced when this happened. And I want to talk about it because it's over 30 years ago and there might be a tendency to forget. I asked my daughter if they taught her about this in school. Apparently they did not. So we have to keep it alive. All right. Anyway, thanks for listening. As always, subscribe, hit that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.